I just updated Axiom. I'm curious as to some of the changes that I've heard about. I really want to check it out. I'm not 100% certain if I'll see it all. Let's see. Updating my Axiom reset my keybinds in this. Why? Why did it do that? That's a nightmare. I don't like that. I don't want that. No thank you. I need to do the interior of this today, and then once this is done, I kind of put that off a lot. Once it's done, we can start on like working on some mountain ideas, because I need to have this be a big valley, and we can lay out, we can draw out, paint out some of the big spots that we're going to put things. Should make this floor double wide. Yeah, some stuff that we're going to put things, and then yeah, things of that nature. But first, okay, that's not changed. That doesn't look like it's changed. Okay, so at least there's that. Keybinds, load default, Blender like, thank you. I use Blender like because I want to use my middle button in order to like move around, and that was horrific. It was terrifying and terrible and awful. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Okay, let's see. I worked on trees last week. Yeah, because Saturday I got kidnapped into a minigame thing by a friend of mine, and then I worked on trees. I like these oak trees. My concern, and maybe it's only because I built them, so I see them, is when I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I do a forest with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it won't quite look. They still might not look different enough. We might still see a lot of repeats. I don't know. We could test that in a little bit. I do need to make sure I have blueprints for all of this, blueprints for all my birches, and blueprints for all the spruces. I need to work on on this medium-sized spruce. I think a couple more of these would help. And then something that we might do, I was watching another builder stream, and he had a lot that looked almost identical, but just like small changes. It's like maybe another one that's like this exact tree, but maybe some of the branches are rotated around and a little different. And just those small changes is enough to make it look real varied in a forest. Because as much as I like these for like trees, it's because they're all so very unique, the repetitiveness really sticks out. And that might be a problem. That might be a problem. So, for example, the one I was watching, it was Calvin, which because I watch all of his streams, and he had like a couple of these, but like it would lean, like he had a couple that would lean right, and then a few that would lean left, like 3 or 4, and it could have been because he has such a large library of trees, but like when they stamped all over when he stamped them out, just kind of playing with it, it looked really good, as opposed to my stamp tool, and we do my forest stamp, and if I let it load, if I do this, like the birch trees look great, but repetitive. Like I see a lot of the exact same tree, like this tree here, as I see it over and over and over again. I do not have the other trees stamped in here, but that's all I see is the same tree over and over again. Gonna have to work on that. Let's load that back up. All right. Okay, but before we dive more into trees, I've done so many trees. Evil, hello, happy Monday. How's your week starting off? How are you doing? Interior. Yes, I need to do an interior here. I need to finish this super badly. I'm kind of okay with how this is going on. If we ever get people like redeeming banners or something, I can always come in here and add it here. We can do something there, like a crest or something. You have a reference board set up for actual trees in Northshire Abbey? No. No, I don't. Hi, Micah. What I have is a reference image. Hold on, let me get to the folder. Hold on, let me get to the folder. Not me aggressively waiting for this to load. What I have is a single reference image of what a tree looks like in the Abbey, because they've only got like 2 that they just kind of copy and pasted everywhere. Got off work early. Nice early day. Today's a short stream because I gotta prep for tomorrow, because that's it's the first day of raid in World of Warcraft. And I'm one of the tanks, so I gotta know what the heck I'm doing. If I kill the raid too many times, I make people angry and crash out, and that's always fun. There we go. Home. All right, it takes a second for me to load up my my NAS. I stream what? Not yet. No. I've been asked if I'm gonna, but I don't actually know. Here, we can use this. So file, open reference image. Now that I'm in the right folder, gotta pin those. Like we can see right here with our reference image, it's just kind of big. They pretty much have the same tree rescaled and pasted over and over and over again. I can't as easily scale a build up and down, but yeah, I like these trees. I'm not upset at these trees. They're good trees. I think they get the point across that they are trees. I just think my what I should probably do is something like this one is a pretty good basic looking tree. Do like 3 more of these, and just kind of change up the branches ever so slightly. Yeah, because like something like this where I tried with a twist because of the color is going to stick out a lot. So whenever I put it in a stamp, I'm just going to see this over and over again. There's just no way around it, especially with the size of space that I'm going to be filling in with forest. Kind of same with here. We could probably do a few of these and just kind of change the branches ever so slightly and probably be fine. But this might end up being our main tree. And then we can still have these in there. That'll be perfectly fine to break it up every once in a while. But that might be the play. Yeah, and it wasn't even like a subject of the stream. It's just something that I happened to notice. And I was like, oh, that might be smart. That might be clever. So have something that's almost identical, but ever so slightly different. So that whenever you stamp everything... yeah, it looks good. It doesn't look too repetitive. All right. In here, though, we need to build out this little area. Same over here. Let me see. I think I'm pretty much done in here. Like, I'm not doing armor stands or anything right now. So this is pretty much what I'm going to be... I'm done there. I need to add some lighting in here, though, because if I remember, it's easier to load up... Please. I freeze my game every time I turn on my shaders. Just that first time after launching it for a while. There we go. But yeah, whenever you're here, you start going up here and it gets real dark. Real dark. So I just got to get something, I guess like right here. I could just do... that. Something like this. Oh, because that's a slab. I don't know. Something like this, maybe. Where we... Geez, that... I don't know. I kind of hate that, actually. Excuse me. Something like that. Simple, simple, simple. I said it a bazillion times, but we really should be allowed to do this in survival. Look how clean that is. Mm-hmm. And come up here. This is going to be a belfry. How to bake? We'll have to figure out how to make a bell. I'll have to make a bell. Yep, I agree. I subjected that rule for all things in my life. Let's see. I know what this looks like already. You do end up making more versions of the trees. You might consider going more chunky with a little less detail and complexity. Super thick, kind of basic. Yeah. Hold on. Agreed. That's another reason why I was thinking this one over here, this guy, because as far as trees go, that's about as basic as it goes. Milton, welcome. As far as trees go, this guy's pretty much the least detailed I've got. Pretty basic, and I think that's fine. I know, like, one of the big things with Northshire and Elwyn Forest, it's been there since the game, you know, was created. So it's just a whole lot of everything was real basic, especially compared to today. So I still want things to look good, but I think a few more variants of this bad boy right here is the way to do that. And the way I made this was actually really simple, the whole thing. So I can recreate that pretty quickly now, because it was literally just the path tool with dark oak planks and use stairs and slabs. This was it. And all I did to make like this chunkier boy here was this. This was literally it. I just made... Oh, and let's go ahead and make a Bezier curve. It's not going to change too much at this size. Tree's looking great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, for this, we can even just do a catenary, which will drop it down a bit, but give me this real, this curve that we can then edit a bit as such. Like that. Oh, but I messed this up because I want to do a keep existing. Like this. So, something like this where... Maybe the catenary is not the play, but you know, we can get those up pretty quick. Wish you had Axiom when you were first learning organics. I agree. The downside being I can't do stuff freehand to save my life. I work better with Axiom. The upside being I get a lot done. That was 2 days worth of work is all those trees. That's really all that is. In here, let's see. Oh, I don't need a... I have this. My progress is staying... Well, thank you. Yeah, we're working on it. The tool looks rad, but you're basically making a mangrove where the roots are super high. I don't disagree. I was considering that. when I first made it, and I was like, you know, sometimes trees do end up doing this. But another thing I can do is, if we consider this the roots, that might be, if this is the bulk of the forest, that might just be something we take into consideration. So let's see, I do solid, and I'm going to grab this tree. We're going to duplicate it. So instead of it sitting like this right on the ground, I would actually just drop it into the ground, and that's the roots kind of coming out of it. If we could do something kind of like this, and that might not be too bad, because then look at this. You don't really have... It's more like a big trunk. Pros and cons to it, but yes, I did have that that thought when I was first building it. It's one of the reasons I went in here and made this even fatter, because that's another thing where if instead of that, I just put it here, we just fill this in, which isn't that hard. It no longer looks like that. It just kind of looks like everything's coming up off the ground. It's just a big chunk of a... like that. Like this. Just kind of, it just gives it a little bit more oomph before it starts going up and splitting. Now, granted, if I did all this, I would need to like maybe thicken up in here a little bit more, but I think playing around with it, but that got me some interesting shape real quick. So I was pretty happy with how that came out. So we might do that a bit more of that. I was using the line tool a lot for all of the leaves here. So hold on, let me keep that there. And then what I want to do is select that. We change all these leaves to air. Ah, I can. Right here, we can see this is the real thing with what I ended up using the line tool for, was the branches, where I started off with wooden fence posts, and I just used the line tool to get them up, and then I got in with glass, and then I connected everything. And I think getting the branches out really helped like define a shape for the leaves. I could definitely make this look a lot cleaner if I spent a lot more time on it, but I was pretty happy with how quickly I was able to get like a good leaf shape, because beforehand it was like kind of this, whereas mostly I was just dropping big piles of leaves, but the branches weren't actually defining that shape early on. And my big thing was just like being okay with getting branches really high up here and letting that be what defines everything. So for example, now I could do something like this. The leaves came out great. Yeah, I think so too. We can do the meta ball, so it just splurts all. That's the word. All wherever the branches are, it kind of just spreads itself out. And we have this. That's a very quick and dirty version of it. And you see how quickly we just get really good shape. And obviously we would come in, we would start adding a lot more air. I always err on the side. It's almost better to have too few leaves than too many. Because like you can see over here, I have almost no leaves on this. Not really. And it's not hollow. Like you don't want it to be hollow, but you want it to have really not, it doesn't need a whole lot of leaves. You want to make sure that the leaves are off of the main trunk, because leaves don't really grow on trunks. They grow on branches, and usually on the top and the sides of branches, not on the bottom. So you want to be able to see all these branches, and I think that this comes out a lot better for it. On the bigger trees, you can even get in and use bigger blocks to simulate that. You can see up here, like, it's almost hollow, but with clumps around the branches themselves. Except for this one. This is just a hanging clump. If I did this one, if I redid this one, it would be with me using... I built this before I was using that trick. I think this tree would actually come out better if I had done that first. This one was just me playing around. I literally scaled this up and used it as a basis. You can see it's almost an identical tree. And again, I wasn't using the branches, so like all the way up here, there's no branch when there could have been. It should have been clumped a bit more around this branch than it is. But I digress. We learn. But yeah, that's a good shout with the roots. I don't disagree. I think it doesn't look bad when it's filled up. Maybe getting right up in there a little more thicker before it branches out. But yeah. That's not what I need to do. I just need to go down on my spruce. Right there's the center, so let's see. I want a bell shape. I want a bell shape, so I think it's stone. What kind of block do we want to make this bell out of? Kind of something kind of steelish in color. You know, we've got a lot of create blocks that are straight up just metals. Like this flat gray riveted loco metal. First things first, we're gonna turn off Metaball Hollow. Gotta say, that ain't it. And also with how small this is, that ain't it. You know, there's not actually a bell in the game here. Oop. I have my that. So what I might do, it kind of just is a belfry. What we might end up doing is making it look like there was once a bell here, and then that's just kind of it. I don't like this for a... maybe. I think if I do a wall instead. Yeah, that makes it look flatter. I think that's better. Then like this, like a rope that would be down, and maybe it's just like being worked on somewhere, but at least that gives it the illusion that there would be a belfry up here. Because do I have a reference image? I do. Because if we look, this is the reference image. Granted, it's all wood up here, but I'm probably not going to do that. But you can see, like right here, it's just kind of this podium. But like you'd be like, why is there a podium here? And I had to rack my brain. I was like, oh, it's probably because there was a belfry here. So I guess that makes sense. Make it look like the bell's busted or something. I don't know. And they do have like random storage around here, but now let's see. How do I want to light up in here? And the simplest answer is going to be this. Grab a nether rack, and we'll grab a flint and steel. Turn on my shaders. They look from the outside. Do we want it to look like it's on fire? Probably not. Okay. Alright, need to look at some lamp designs, I guess. It's kind of weird just being a roadside lamp in here, so not that. And that's probably going to be the play right here. Just something this simple. Oops. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. Cool. I don't know what else we would really put in a belfry. Cool buffet. They have like some random barrels, and there's an NPC up there. But like, it doesn't make sense to me that people would walk storage all the way up to a belfry. That makes absolutely no sense. So we might kind of just leave that one empty-ish for now. And then in here, we're gonna work on our table. Do we want to have a recreation of this, or is it gonna be more of a square table? Okay, do I have pictures of these? I do. This would be the downstairs, so what we're looking at right here. Now, clearly, I'm not going to get whatever kind of design this is on the top. But you walk in, I guess you have another one here, a table, some bookshelves, and some other small assets there. So let's grab you. Wait. Oh. Because I grabbed the wrong thing. Okay. No. There. Outstanding. And we can put a little bench. Nope. Right there. And another one right there. It's gonna bug me if I don't center that. Grab one of these bigger boys. Don't judge me, chat, on me taking shortcuts here, okay? Real question, should I shorten this by a block? I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead and take this, boop, just like that. I think that's okay. And then what we do is do that. Nope. Very cool. Not that far off, I don't think. What we can do, we can actually... Oof, that's an even one. Never mind, I changed my mind. I don't hate that. Let's do that some more. One more time. Ta-da! Yeah, I think that's pretty good. You kind of do the same up here. Wrong button. So if I do my open reference image, the one upstairs is this one. Or again, it's just kind of like bookshelves and then one big table and benches, like real basic things. Real basic things. Making a candelabra. D, thank you so much for the lurk. Welcome, welcome. This one's just one big table. Button. Being able to quickly move things like this is so helpful. Boop. Make a bit more space. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That makes more sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, right in the center. Bam. Wrong kind of lever. Wrong kind of piston. I don't know what, what, if anything, I could put. And yes, I'm aware of this, graphical thing. I don't know why that happens. I'm pretty sure it happens. Yeah, see? Just a bug with that block. It's a modded block, so I'm not overly concerned. You know what? Instead of... Instead of that, what if we... Boop, boop. We just do that. some weird little shelf thing. Why not? Right? Because why not? Do the same thing right here. And I can only do in this mode. I love it. Cool. All right. I think that's actually not that bad. Midnight. Ooh. And that's how the place looks at night. Tra la 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 la. Look at this. Look at this. Very cool. Very, very happy with this. All right. Yes, down here. So in the game, it's pretty much just like a sitting place. I don't think there's even pretty sure I have a picture of this as well. I took a lot. Pretty sure there isn't even a place like a bookshelf or anything in that. I guess I did not take a picture of that. I did not. Oh well. But we could add bookshelf. Make this into a little area. Could even give it some privacy. So whereas instead of here, we do this. What do we think? Is May's cooking with this? And then we just go grab one of these bookshelves. Which I cannot stress enough. I know this is the laziest way to do it. Oh. But I digress. Like a curtain type deal, or ooh, we do that. Where's our wall? Something like this. That's about as thin as I can get. Then not quite gives me the curtain look I'm looking for. Thanks, bot. No, that's not what I wanted. What if I do Ancient Place? Will it? Nope. I would need to turn off updates. Place something like that there, place that there, and delete that. Which means I would actually need yeah, but that kind of gets away. I liked the concept, but that gets away from the original build. Oh well. I think something as simple as this works though. Go ahead and clone you one more again. Do 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 do. I think something just as simple as this. That works. And then, how did I have it? I was doing some dark oak slabs. Well, all right. Howdy, howdy, howdy. How you doing today? How's your Monday? All right, I hate to do this to you, Dino, because you just got here, but I am going to sit over here for just a moment. I'm going to let my ads run right quick. I've got to use the restroom, and my ads have to run, but I will be right back, I promise. And I'm doing great. I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Not a problem, Dino. Sorry again. I was building up for a minute. Oh. What am I doing? Okay, I think this is pretty good place to say the Abbey's done. It would only be like real finicky details at this point. We can probably blueprint that and say it's done. That is, just kind of shows old progress. Trees, trees, trees. Let's do block, grab you, and delete you. Then let's go ahead and grab our solid. Cut, and we're gonna bring this out here, and that's just so that we can work on the leaves without it connecting, like doing anything over here. Let's add some different leaves to this. Let's see if we can get a slightly different shape, but it still looks kind of like the same tree, but it's different, but it's the same sort of thing. So we're gonna go back to our sphere. Persistent true. There's our leaves. Turn off hollow, and we're going to turn on metaball. And you see, boom, instantly starts to expand. Way too high of a range. Bring the range way back down, and drop that shape there. Let's do it again over here. I always start with my darkest leaves because this is going to be what's like underneath everything anyway. So when we go in and paint it all, it'll be fine. It'll kind of like shade itself a bit, just helps out. Nope, not that. Not solid this time. This time block. Oh, we did do keep existing. Oh no. We're gonna have to redo all of that to make sure I don't accidentally erase any of these. Shape. Let's see. I do that, but then we bring this way in, kind of up the range, or bring down the range a bit. What kind of shape are we getting? Ooh. Ooh. That's kind of working out okay. It is. If I do that, and then what we can do is our noise painter. We're gonna do the spruce leaves. We're gonna do air. Sure, we click off surface. Oh, we do want to make sure we have all of this selected. And then I like to use white or splatter, either one really. Then I actually enjoy using the cylinder tool, not the cylinder tool, the capsule tool. I like this. Actually, something we can do. I don't think it works with. Oh, let's see what I want to do. Like a green concrete or something. And once we've made these pockets, something I've done that's worked out is I come up here to options or to operations, and we just hollow. And what that'll do is it'll make these these hollow pockets, where it makes these empty spaces in between where everything would have been touching. Now we can do concrete and spruce. We'll see if that lightens things up. That does lighten things up a bit. Now we're gonna go ahead. I'm going to randomize our seed, and you see places like here. Just click on that, kind of messy up these flatter areas a bit. And what we do is we can click back on our surface, and we'll just kind of stick to the surface for a bit. And like I said, it's almost, for me at least, it's almost better to go with like too few leaves. You can always add a few more later anyways, as opposed to overleafing. Because like overleafing is not gonna it's just not gonna look good. There you go, and we make sure that we keep leaves around our branches here. Keeping mostly to the upper ones. We want to remove this lower layer of stuff. If I kind of wanted to get a bit fancy, what we could do is I could do this, and we'll do up, down. And that'll allow me to grab these two and just delete them outright. Get kind of fancy with the select tool there. I think that one's okay. And look how quickly we have leaves. That really didn't take all that long. I'm liking this workflow a lot. I think it's working out a lot. You can see how airy the tree is. I think for this branch, I want it to do this number. Oop. Turn on our... Do that. Now we can spruce leaf here. We are missing some here, so how about we grab our shape tool, bring this way down. I think this is a little too empty, so we're just going to quickly just do this. It's not resetting all of our progress. We'll just do that, and then we'll grab our noise painter. Oh, do want to make sure we go ahead and grab all of this again. Grab our noise painter, and just do that. I said that didn't really work out. That's okay. Sometimes you gotta test things out and let it not work. How's it look from out here, though? Not bad. One thing we can do, grab all our leaves, be all the way up here, operations, auto shade. And look at that. Nice, very quick way to color everything. All I got to do is come in and change a few of these that we missed. And that's it. Super quick. Super quick. If there's any like real big gaps, we can always fill in a bit here. Just make sure it doesn't look like it's dying. We don't want that. Birch in here just to help. All right, magic select, solid, grab all of this, Control X, cut it, and we're gonna move you right over here. Oops, we lost the leaf. That wasn't connected to anything. Boop. Yeah. Too flat there. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Very cool. We could do something like that. Make it thicker, but without it being like too thick. There's two fairly similar, but still different trees. I think if we do like 2 more or something like this, it would actually work out not that bad. Let's do this here. Okay. Bro, why am I hungry? Okay, so even just 1 radius is just too much. Ooh, you know what? I might be able to, because I like trying to play around with different little shortcuts. It's not like I have to, but I just kind of find it fun. So what if we... Capsule actually a shape in this too? It's not, sadly, but that's okay. So what we do is here, and then we pick up our meta ball. These are completely illegal trees. I know it. You know it. I think that's fine. They look good. Like this. I won't apologize for that. One of my favorite little things right now is doing something like this, because you can't do this in... not you. You... No! This. See? You can't do that in survival, and it looks good. I wish you could. Thanks, bot. Oh, quacks. Like, granted, I could do this, but then if I wanted to do that, I couldn't. But that looks so good like that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Boop. No. No. Boop. Okay, go back to our line. I'm gonna make our first, like, big branch going out here. I think this might be a bit too fat. So what if we... off keep existing, do that, turn back on keep existing, do this. My concern is this might be like too chunky. Like, in order for this to make sense, we would want this to be closer to up here. But then that brings it out of the realm of, well, kinda. Okay, let's see. If I do a branch, ooh, way out there. Let's see. Do a branch out here, right? And then maybe our second branch is on the edge of this. Bring it up just the one, maybe even 2 blocks out to here. Like that. And then maybe we even have another branch out to here. Not that far. You know what? I feel like most of my trees can lean on, like, away from the camera. So let's bring you forward like this. Now, real quick, we're gonna do a quick magic select solid. Grab this. Grab this. Control X. We're gonna bring you out here where we can craft you a bit better. Boop. Okay. Now if we do this, gonna go ahead and connect. Like that. Okay, now if we go back to... No. Now if we go back to my path tool, we're going to change this to the brown stained glass panes. No, I take that back. Dark oak fence. Now what we're looking for are like places where this might naturally get a little fat, where they'll start to branch off. So let's see, how about right here? This is where we can probably play with catenary, but we need that slack to really not be very pronounced, but let it go down and then up a bit. Like that. And maybe right here, we have another one coming over to here. And then these will split into smaller branches out of the glass. Right here, where it's getting a bit thin, we can thicken that out a bit, but then we'll put a branch here. I'd say a tree is like 40%, 50% bloody branch. So, a lot of branch. So I would like not be too afraid to add a lot. That shape. Delete you. We'll have another one over here. Of course, on the edges. Reaching up towards the sky. I think it makes sense right here to have one into the middle here. Same thing over here. We want to make sure that it still makes, like, it looks like it'll still be stable, like you're not going to have branches just falling off. Got lucky with that one. Here we can do glass panes even higher up. Here's where I need to be okay with kind of getting up into the top, because like obviously branches would go up there. And this isn't like, you don't normally have a branch that comes out here, but you would have like the center here kind of filled up with tiny branches as they crisscross around. So I think this helps simulate that pretty well. Getting these glass panes up here in this kind of random, kind of not pattern. Okay, that worked out. That's okay. That's fixable. Where am I? Where am I in this 3D space? Ba-da-ba. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in the middle of a heat wave. It's toasty. in my home. I think I want at least 1 or 2 over here as well. Really liked this method of designing trees. I think going branch first, that was one of my first issues where I was like, man, where do I put the leaves? Where do I put the leaves? And then I started going like branch first. Really helped out tremendously. All right, so we're gonna grab all this. The reason we want all of this, and we want to make sure we get all of this, operations and trigger updates. Kabam. There we go. Okay, that really helped fill everything in. And now do a shape. We can come back to our leaves. We have our super sphere, our meta ball, just like we did earlier. Work on getting something kind of usable shape-wise. Make sure I hit outside onto these branches a bit. And it looks like it's kind of crawling into the branches. Not crawling, that's a bad word, but I hope you get what I'm meaning. Get it up onto those branches without it like kind of like that. That would hit pretty much instantly, not bad. The reason I play with the super sphere is so we can also play with the exponent, and we can see if we can't get like some more interesting shapes instead of just a circle. Like obviously this is very blobby and a little too geometric for leaves, but we know from experience that that will clean up, well, dirty up, I guess I should say, as we add air. All these big, beautiful shapes that we're getting. Great. I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, I'm really happy with how the under looks. Obviously up here, it's a little flat. What I kind of want to do is just drop a blob of leaves up here. I know that's going to get cleaned up a bit whenever we do our stuff. How about we do something like this and like this. Solid block, and now we're going to grab all of our leaves here, and our noise painter should still be fine. Already instantly looks better, but I forgot to do something, which was check off surface. To do that, we're going to randomize our seeds so we can, we're not like pasting over the same pattern over and over again. All right, so we're mostly looking for right here are places like this where it's just a big blob of flatness. And we can come in and hit that, break it up a bit. It'd be right there. Look how airy that already is. And for like right here, we don't really need to do a whole lot. Maybe break it right there. Maybe break that like that. Break this one like that. And then just in here. That's why I like the pill. So we can also kind of like hit these interesting shapes on the sides. Now, Control R. We're going to change this to just like concrete or wool. Either one doesn't really matter. I really don't think the leaves work. I want to hollow, and then Control R again to spruce leaves. And then operations, auto shade. And we've already got our palette there. That's perfect. We are going to grab these few leaves that we. Perfect. Auto shade. Wait. Yes. Ooh. Look at that. And I think that came out even more interesting than our big tree over there. And then what we can probably do. Ooh. I do have to fix this though. Look at this. This branch is about to fall off. What's wrong with me? Oh. Ooh, that was good. That there. This there. Right here, let's put that there. And that there. Right, and if we turn off the no update, I can just drop signs like this. Ah, I'm really happy with that one. All right, now if we go back to our magic select, but this time it's solid. Looks like we only left one leaf behind this time. That's okay. There we go. And it's not touching there, even though it's kind of close. That's fine. Oop. I'm having a great time building trees. Look at that. I'm super, super happy. Ooh, not quite what I had set out to build. I wanted to make another copy of this, but I'm really happy with this one. Actually, why don't we do this? We'll grab the solid, Control X one more time, and this time we're just going to go right over here. That's going to be our next big one. Let's clone another platform right quick. Bam. And then what we can do... Grab this. Grab this. No. Control J. All right. Now for this, let me just control click to get all these leaves right here. And then air. Wait. I guess I must miss that one. And probably all we need to do is just reset new leaves and edit the trunk a little bit. Just a little, not a whole lot. Probably needs to be done. I don't want to do too much with coloring. How about we find another way to connect these? First things first, what we can do is we'll grab out to here. Like that. Just very, very subtle, very little changes. I don't want to like rebuild from scratch. They keep existing for right now. I like that. I don't hate that. Yeet Blade, hello, hello. How you doing today? Got me in the middle of, I just can't stop building trees. I'm definitely relying on Tweak a lot. Let's see, we're gonna do some spruce, but what brings you to stream? How's your Monday? How's your week starting off? Just crank the range and let this get weird. What happens? Besides slowing my computer down? Okay. Ha 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 ha. Way too close. I'm just kind of getting a lot of big rectangles this way, aren't I? That was a fun little test, but way too many rectangles. So let's do this. I just messed with the exponent of our supersphere if I reset the rotation. Bump things up a bit. honestly. Yeah. Fine, that didn't work out. We're here to test and have fun doing so. So, in case anyone didn't know, this is the exponent for the supersphere. Pretty much just make it a square or keep making it as rounded as we want until we get to this weird shape. Depending. Like we can get to like this kind of diamond shape right here. Make the units a little flatter. I find that I have more interesting shapes using Metaball when my shape is a bit flat. Because I want the branches to define the shape that we're getting. Because that's kind of what Metaball does. It lets blocks just kind of latch on to the other blocks. And that's what I'm trying to take advantage of, is letting this just latch on to the branches and let the branches really do most of the heavy lifting. So like we might reduce Metaball a little bit. No, that didn't work out. In that case, it's a shape issue. Like that. That's what I'm kind of talking about. Getting these interesting shapes. I do that, and then we can come up here, get one up here. I need to make a video of me doing this at some point. Maybe a short or something. I don't know how I would do it. I won't say that I'm a pro at building trees, but boy, I've built a lot of them so far. At least in like the last week. All of those. Thank you. There we go. Just kind of keep finagling and tweaking things until you get an interesting shape that you like. And then knowing that a lot of this, as geometric as all is, it's about to get completely and utterly wrecked when we add air. Now, is this too much like this? No, I don't think so. I don't think too identical. I've already got this going on here, but I know that's going to get absolutely, like, we'll have some very naked branches if I don't fill that in just a little bit. So let's do this. Let me bring it out a little bit. Kind of like that. Ooh, I like that. Now, what we do is we set a solid, which is what we've been doing. Block, grab all of our leaves. Noise painter should already be fine. It is. And I don't mind the 50-50. We've had some good luck with that. So our surface, so we're going to be painting on the inside as well, since surface is unchecked. And bam, there we go. Already huge difference. And let's see, if I just go ahead and quickly, we're going to replace all our spruce with, let's say, green wool. Doesn't really matter. And then we do an operations, hollow, control R, replace this right back with spruce so we can see how airy everything is. That was real quick. I think we got very lucky. Do we have any, like, outside of on the top, We have a few places on top. So what we'll do this time is surface, since I only want to click on the surface. Oh, what I need to do is stick to surface, but randomize our seeds so we have a new pattern. Because we just did a big sweep of the pattern. Bam, there it is. I had to do some manual changes. So first things first, we definitely want leaves on this branch. Real tall one. This one as well. Maybe like that. Replace some of this flatness like this. Always, 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 I would err on too few leaves than too many. It's way easier for a tree to look nicer with fewer leaves than it is for like, because it's really easy, ooh, gross. Really easy to accidentally make it a big blob. Which is kind of blobbish, so. What if I do this, grab all of this, then, oh, actually, just click surface only, grab adjust the surface, and now our noise painter. Just kind of break up these flatter areas, like right here. And right here was just a bit too geometric. Ooh, that's better. That's better. That's not what I want to do. I wanted that one. Great. All right, and we want to make sure we go magic select again. This time, turn off the surface only. Grab this, grab that little guy. So before, let's see, can we connect you to something like that? Grab all of that. Mickey Star, hello, hello. Welcome to stream. Thank you for redeeming. How are you doing this Monday? How does life fare? Auto shade. Look at how quickly these leaves are going to look good. Oop. Ah, pristine. You're doing good. How am I doing? Not too bad. Not too bad. We've got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 new trees just today. I see you're redeemed. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to magic select a full solid. Clear this. I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to move this bad boy over to here. That is a tight fit. But look at that. Look at that. Now, is that... It is, because of this one leaf right there that I don't mind kicking out. No. Oop. Okay, it might have been, I still need to kick that leaf out. It might be also that one. Yep, got it. Really didn't need to do that. It's real nitpicky, but yeah. Oh. But yeah, we got quite a few new trees. I'm going to grab these little as blueprints. I'm going to make them all blueprints. And we'll see We'll see how this looks as a stamp for an oak forest. Honestly, maybe not that way, or if it is, it's going to be real rare. But I think 1, 2, and 3 are all very similar, but different enough. But they're similar enough that they won't stick out. The issue I was having, let me redeem this for a drink. Thank you again. I kind of needed that. I sat on whether or not I was going to have the hydrate for a long time. I really didn't think I would. Like, I didn't think anybody would ever use it. I'm surprised how many people redeem hydrate. Let's see. So my current issue is if I use stamp, stamp, and you can see I have a bunch of like a whole lot of different types of trees and everything, right? And let's just use it out here and see. Look at that. Great. It's a great way to get a whole lot of vegetation up. But when you start walking through here, I see that's one tree, the same tree, the same tree, the same tree, same tree. And use hydrate in every stream. Fair enough. It's just a lot of the same tree. Even with the birches here, a lot of the same birches. I think with the birch, what I need to do is not reinvent the wheel here. I just got to grab the branches, and I can adjust some of the branches and make them look very similar but still different. I think that's a play. I also think by doing lighting from the very top from the noon sun, that helped that a lot. But I don't think you're going to tell that too much from down here. Yeah. So that's the issue. So that's why I built all these new trees. Ghost of trees. So let's see. If I do... Oh, right. And then I got to do is grab that corner, come all the way over here to this corner. Like that. And this is why I do everything up in at least a block up in the air. It just makes selecting everything so much easier. Now M for magic select. Do this. Control C. Oh. Actually, I'm going to do a box select. I'm going to grab all of this. Am I inside for everything? I am. I'm going to grab that. Do that. So because I have a few like little things. Like these little guys. They aren't grabbed by the magic select. Control C. Now we can control P. What would this be? This would be oak. First off, this would be a tree, and it would be natural. Do I have one for like oak? Oh, I do. That might be for like the type of build I'm doing maybe in the future. Let's not do that one. Let's see. Thank you so much for the lurk. We will see you around. References. Not me, just trying to load up my folders. It hurts. Oh, you know how I can quickly get to this one though? While that figures out its life. File, export. Nope. All right, import. I lied. That didn't work. Ad break in 3 minutes. Oh. It's almost 5. I think that's actually when I get off. I get off at 6, but let's see. I've got a lot of trees built. We finished the interior here. There was a lot of work done. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here because I can eat. I got a lot of work I have to put in before tomorrow, before Tuesday. So I think I'm very happy with the progress we made. I know it was a very short stream, but this way on Wednesday we can come in. I should have some hype maps. I need to remember to grab some hype maps. We can start trying to paint out mountains, paint out areas for where we're going to do more of our builds, and essentially start getting this world built up. Because I think with these trees, I think with these back four here specifically, I think I nailed the Elwyn Forest tree. I think this is about as close as I'm going to get at my skill level currently, and I'm very happy with it. So before ads start, I think that's going to be about it for Maze. I don't think any of my friends are currently actively streaming on Twitch. No. I'm not about to like stream random really big name streamers. So I'm going to go ahead and call it there on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up before the ads finish. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for watching. And I will see you Wednesday when I'm live again. Ciao.